If you already follow me, you may or may not already know my wife, Anya. Or you may not know that she's my wife. But we also work together. We do photo and video work. And how would you describe what we do?
We are content creators. But first, I was a blogger and Tyler was a photographer.
And we'll talk some more at the end of the video about exactly how we work together and what we do. But first, Best Buy asked us to talk about some of the technology that helps keep us connected. We travel a lot, we're on the road a lot. But since we run a small photo video business together, this is also a chance to talk about how we collaborate as a team.
Roll it.
A piece of technology that's kind of boring to talk about, but insanely important to what we do is hard drives.
This guy was really disorganized with his hard drives when we first met. And they were all like giant. They took up so much space.
When we're working on a project, usually each of us is on our own laptop, and Anya will be selecting photos and then I'll be editing them in Photoshop and Lightroom. So we need drives that are portable, so that means they're powered by USB. They have a lot of storage space. They're reasonably priced because we go through a lot of them, and they hold up and we can trust them. So for a few years now, I've been buying Seagate portable USB drives, and I always buy two of them together. One is a working drive and the other is a backup, and I try to keep them in sync as often as possible. The way I do that is using an app called ChronoSync, and it just looks at the folders on each drive and makes them the same. Super basic functionality, but incredibly important. So usually I buy a pair of these at the start of the year and then another pair later in the year. We end up with a lot of them. And always remember, keep the backup and originals in two different locations as often as possible. When we travel, I try to keep them in separate bags. For video work, I edit directly off of a Samsung T3 SSD drive. These are very small and very fast. And then I'm always backing that up to a pair of Seagate 5TB drives.
The fact that we have more than one copy of everything that we do gives me a peace of mind.
Remember, 2 is 1 and 1 is none.
So the Nest is an amazing piece of technology, and Tyler is the one that actually introduced me to it. I really love that we can check in with Charlie when we're away. It's a really great tool for him to be able to hear our voice and us to be able to see him and what he's doing, and just have a peace of mind that everything at home is good.
We also use the Nest Protect, and that is a smoke and carbon monoxide alarm. Not only is it more beautiful than most smoke alarms, but it easily connects to your Wi-Fi, and then when we're traveling, we can check in at home, make sure that nothing's wrong, make sure the cats are okay, and if anything ever does happen, we get an alert directly to our phones. Maybe our favorite feature, I didn't even know this had until we got it, is that it also has a night light that's motion detected, so as soon as you walk under it, you get just a very small amount of light. I love that. There's also a few key apps that help us stay connected, and they're multi-platform, so it works on our phones and our computers. I'm sure you know about Dropbox, and that's our main way of managing all of our files.
It's the easiest way for us to share photos and videos with clients. We send them a link, they know how to use it, there's no confusion. Everything is easy to download. It's a really great tool.
And when we're on the road, I love the app Screens that allows me to remotely log into my computer at home and access any files that I don't have with me. If you're not already using Google Photos, it's an easy recommendation for everybody because it's free and it has unlimited uploads of all of your photos. It does compress them and convert them to JPEG, so they're not original backups, but it's a great fail-safe just in case you lose all your other copies. So then when we take photos on our phone, regardless of which phone it is, it's synced between all of them and we can access basically everything that we've shot together without thinking about it too much. Just a little tip though, it doesn't back up until you launch the app, so just try to remember to launch it, a few times a week. And another quick one, the web camera that I really love, it's much better than what's built into any computer, is the Logitech C920. It's HD, it's not 4K, but I feel like you usually don't need 4K for that kind of streaming. Very high quality, sharp, and reasonably priced. So that's some of the technology we use to stay connected, and thanks to Best Buy for sponsoring this video, because I think this is a great topic. And I just wanted, for anybody that doesn't know, to talk for 2 seconds about what do we do? Because there's photos of us traveling.
It's hard, it's a weird job.
So we could say we're content creators, but that means some more specific things. So you have a blog. What's the blog about?
Yes, so my blog, anyab.net or .com. It's a lifestyle blog. It started off as a fashion predominantly because that's my background. I modeled for many years and then I wanted to get into styling, so fashion seemed to be the obvious way to go.
And this is Charlie. He doesn't get to travel with us. And a lot of the time, the way that we actually work together is I'm usually doing, I guess, the more tech side, and you're doing more of the creative side. So I'll be holding the camera, but Anya will be coming up with the concepts and doing all the art direction.
A big part of this job that people don't realize is the setup of everything, the prep. The actual shooting is great, but yeah, a lot goes into coming up with the ideas, and sometimes that's the hardest part. Sometimes when you have come up with so many ideas and then you have to make up another idea on top of it because there's something that came up last minute or whatever, or if you have to come up with it really quickly, it can get challenging, but it's fun. I think the challenge is actually the fun part of doing this job. But also, I guess, you know, like getting props and finding locations, doing makeup.
I think if I was a photographer on my own, I'd be missing out on the huge advantages of like creative direction, because that's something a lot of people miss. Like you get into the technology of how to shoot, how a camera works, but so much of the actual work is finding inspiration.
Well, I can say the same thing about being a creative person without having a photographer that knows what they're doing all the time. So
she also does all the hard business work of responding to emails. She does the hard stuff, basically.
Thank you. I think that like that's where all of these couple photo teams are coming up right now, and we know quite a few of them, and they do a really great job, because it's really nice to just have somebody to be on your team to help with things. I mean, even if Tyler isn't the one that deals with some of the things that I do, I can still ask him for help in those areas.
I think the idea of like couples photo teams is kind of becoming more common now, and I totally see why.
Yeah, and we know a lot of them, and they are really great, and I think that that's what is such a big advantage of it, because even if Tyler doesn't know how to do even if he doesn't do my job, he still can help me with parts of it, so I can always turn to him and have, you know, somebody else on my team and in my corner.
A great example of the benefits of working as a team is shooting weddings. Like I really hated shooting weddings on my own before we worked together. But once you got somebody to have your back and kind of know that they are getting the other angle.
And like you always have somebody looking out for what's happening. You know, if you miss something or whatever, you either communicate with each other, or if you've worked long enough, you can communicate with your minds.
That's what we do. Thanks for watching, and if you want to see more of our work, follow Anya on Instagram @AnyaB, and you can follow me too. I'm @Stalman.
Bye everybody, miss you!